Hello, everybody. Ella J here on behalf of WrestleZone, and today I am joined by Riley Matthews. Riley, how are you today?
Fantastic. Glad it's Friday.
Same, girl, same. It has been certainly an interesting week. We're in the heat of the
Mhm.
summer, I guess. SummerSlam is tomorrow, but we're here to talk about you. You, my friend, just recently celebrated your 2-year anniversary of your professional wrestling debut. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
With that in mind, I kind of wanted to start off with a little bit of a deep dive into that reflection post that you posted on Instagram. In it, you mentioned that you were learning, that you were yearning, you're looking forward to learning more and evolving more. So, kind of before we look towards the future, how do you think that you've grown in these last 2 years as a person and as a competitor?
Um, Definitely my taste. That's for sure. Like over the 2 years, I'm looking back at like what I wore for my very first match, and like current Riley would never ever wear anything like that. Like all my stuff is just so colorful now.
Yeah.
And like I like the mentality has changed too. Like when I first started compared to where I am now, just like all of the knowledge that I know compared to when I first debuted is just like mind blowing. And like I think I know a lot now, but like I talk to people who are like 20 years in the business and I know absolutely nothing. So I'm very excited to continue learning more and learning every little aspect about this business because it's just freaking incredible.
Yeah, we'll talk about your ring gear in a bit because I'm a big fan of that. So we'll get to that in a bit. But you mentioned, absorbing all of this knowledge from people who are like 20, 30-year veterans. I know Roger Ruffen is definitely a big influence on your career, former WWE star and referee. He's definitely had a big impact throughout these early stages of your career. So can you kind of talk about some of that knowledge and influence that he's had on your career so far?
Yeah, so he runs a training school and that is where I started. And that's like one of the best places to learn the basics because now compared to like wrestling now compared to how it used to be, it's changed so much and not a lot of people do the basics anymore. So walking in there, the first thing you learn first day is the basics. And he's very, very strict about that. He likes it old school because it works. It really does. And he goes into full detail about everything from character work to promos to freaking footwork. Like he's just on it. And honestly, I wish everybody could just sit down with Roger for at least an hour and just listen to him talk because he's literally so incredible.
I'm curious for you, you're two well, started in March of 2021, I think it was, and then you had your first
Yes.
match. It just passed, your anniversary with that. So
Yeah.
you've been doing this like about 2.5 years now. It'll be coming up soon, since you officially stepped into the ring. During the early stages of your career, I'm curious, was there like a move that was really like difficult for you to get down, like doing it the first time?
I won't lie. I actually still struggle with this move, and it's one of the basic moves. But I can never, for the life of me, figure out a hip toss, like ever. Like, I don't know. It's so weird, but like, that was really one of the first moves that I ever was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, somebody help me.
Now, do you mean giving it or taking it?
Both.
Both. Okay. You're a
Both.
smaller competitor though too, so I mean, taking it might be a little bit easier
Yeah.
than giving it, but with all things come practice, and you've been surrounded by a lot of veterans so far, and maybe it's from Roger, maybe it's from someone else, but has there been a piece of advice or wisdom that's really stuck with you so far, and who did it come from?
I haven't honestly. I've been told a lot of things that have stuck with me, but a lot of it comes from the trainers at Bone Crushers where I train, and they're like, they preach this to everybody and not just me specifically, but it's always in my head like train because no matter how far into this business you are never ever 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 done learning. Like there's so much more to learn every single day. And like even the greats, like I watch Sasha Banks and well Mercedes Monet now, but she still trains because there is so much more to learn. So yeah, they really engrave that in my brain and everybody else's brain, especially after shows. Are like, come to training. It's very important and it's very vital to getting better and getting to the top.
Yeah, and I know you've gotten to meet and perform in front of a lot of cool people, as you said in that reflection post too. I know you've gotten to perform in front of people like Mark Henry and stuff like that. So can you tell us more about some of the coolest or maybe most interesting people that you've gotten to meet through wrestling so far?
So definitely Mark Henry, I won't lie. Oh my gosh, just like seeing him walk in a room, it just literally lights up because he's just like this big teddy bear. Like he's just always laughing all the time and smiling, and then wrestling in my tag match and looking over and seeing him laughing at us. It's just great. And then Thunder Rosa was another great one that I've met. I wrestled for her promotion, and she's
Mission
literally
Pro.
just like, yes, she is the absolute most sweetest person in the world, and she's so little and cute. Trying to think of other people that I met. Oh my gosh, I didn't really talk to him much because like it was kind of on a busier day. But Rob Van Dam is like one of the most down to earth people ever. And like, I'm one of those people where like I don't want to force myself to like go ask for the picture.
Mhm.
But like he was just like, yeah, let's get a picture. And I was like, oh, this is just
He's
so awesome.
so
Like,
chill. I saw the
yes,
photo while scrolling through your Instagram. I mean, just in general, he has a whole chill vibe. But even
yeah,
still, once you get in front of certain people, it's like, I get you.
yeah, yeah. But like it was just so worth it. Like they always say, take the freaking picture and like for real do it because now it's like I don't know if I would have ever gotten the chance to do that again. So I have that picture forever. Sabu is another one. He's a really sweet person. Gangrel, he's freaking awesome. I went to like a convention one time and my merch table was right next to his. So we were just like sitting there talking. It was just so cool.
Yeah, so many incredible people in this little thing we call wrestling. I assume I think you would have said if you've met her because I know she was a big influence on you growing up and you credit AJ Lee with being the biggest inspiration to kind of convince you to live out your dreams. So you kind of talk about her influence on you and some of the other people that you've looked up to.
Yeah, so AJ, that is the first girl that I saw on my TV where I was like, man, I really want to do this because like I'm the smaller girl in this business. Everyone that I wrestle is always bigger than me, so I kind of have to, just to kind of adapt to that. It's just how it is. And she was also always the smaller girl, but like that never held her back because she's seriously one of the greatest of all time, women wise and like pretty much just overall. Um, so she really impacted my career. Her gear inspiration or my gear comes from a lot of her, like with the checker print and stuff, because
Yeah.
she had a little bit of that going with her. But I also really look up to Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Mercedes. Like those are my girls, and Charlotte Flair. Like if I have comfort wrestlers to watch, just to watch, I always go to like any of them because I could just sit there and watch like all day. Like I'm obsessed.
I know, I so obviously with that timeline, you've at least been watching wrestling for I assume 10 years because it's been at least 8 since AJ's been on the air. But I'm curious, do you recall a specific match or moment that really got you hooked on it, or was it just like AJ Lee as a character in general?
I would say as a character in general, I always loved her matches with Paige. Those were always really good ones. But I do remember a specific match. It wasn't an AJ Lee match, but a match that I saw where I was like, all right, I'm putting my foot down and I'm gonna be a women's wrestler. It was the triple threat match where it was going from the Divas title to the women's title at WrestleMania where Charlotte Flair won. I think it was Charlotte, Becky,
And
and Sasha.
Sasha, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I saw that and I was like, man, women are freaking awesome. And yeah, ever since I saw that, that's when I knew.
Yeah, those three, I mean, still to this day, Mercedes now doing her own thing. She's unfortunately injured, but I hope
I
she's
know.
back soon because I'm so excited. Charlotte Flair, love her too. Becky Lynch has been killing it. But
Oh,
you mentioned obviously kind of crafting your character, part of your own journey though is crafting your own character and your own unique identity, which includes your presentation. So can you talk about the process of developing your character in that aspect in the early stages of your career and just who Riley is as a character?
honestly, that's definitely something that I'm still like kind of trying to figure out because like I have a look that I like and it's not like something for my character. Like when I put thought into my gear, it's literally like me
Yeah,
on a piece of clothing, like all my bright colors. I love checker print. Like it's not just part of like the Riley character. I literally like I love checker print.
I know.
Um, So like all of my gears, I don't know if I will ever detach myself from checker print. Just because it's so cute and I love it. I actually have a new set of gear that I have yet to debut that I'm looking at. I'm in the process of, blinging it out because I rhinestone my own gear. But Riley as a character, I don't even like to describe myself as like a character, if that makes sense. I'm me, and I like to inspire little girls everywhere I go. I know it's like the most cliche thing to say, but like I know the feeling that I had when I was a little girl, and knowing that I could like go out there and make other little girls feel that same feeling. It's just like it's so surreal. And then like my dad right there watching me inspire all these little girls, I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so over the 2 years of kind of developing myself as a person, I've definitely realized that there's still a lot more to go. It doesn't happen overnight. But I'm always willing to learn and adapt and grow and evolve myself as much as I can and just connect with the people. And that's all I really want.
Yeah, and I have to say, you're talking about the topic of ring gear. Two things about your kind of style and aesthetic really strike me. First of all, like you said, you are not afraid of color. Like I
Mm-mm.
I love the neon and the bright colors. And secondly, your ring jacket game is so strong.
Oh,
You've got this kind of I don't maybe from the photos like this magenta tinsel jacket. You've also got this
yes.
shiny silver jacket with tassels, and there's a lot going on there. But when it comes to your ring gear, you said AJ Lee was one with the checker prints, but where else do you go to for inspiration when it comes to putting together your ring gear look?
Honestly, I won't lie. I look on Pinterest a lot at like rave outfits because it's kind of just like my vibe. Um, and then jacket wise, I kind of honestly just look at like Etsy has a lot of like cute
I love
jackets.
Etsy.
Etsy is great.
I'm an Etsy addict, to be honest with you.
Yes, two of my jackets are from
Mhm.
Etsy because I can't find anyone that will custom make jackets. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna support a small business and I'm gonna buy a jacket from them. So I got two from there, and then my pink one I think is from Shop Akira or something like that. But yeah, I'm literally obsessed. And I do plan to keep my jacket game going. I haven't found any new ones yet, and I'm very upset because my silver one is falling apart. Speaking of that silver jacket, I wore that jacket, and then I think a couple months later, Chris Jericho decided to go on TV and wear the same exact jacket. So,
I mean, you
now I
did
have a
it
little twin.
first.
Yeah, exactly. So if anyone tries to, come at me,
Mhm.
like I did it first, man. So yell at Chris Jericho.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
jackets and my gear are how I literally just scream what my personality is. Like it will never be a dull moment when I go out there.
How many jackets are in your ring gear collection right now? I know I could envision at least three or four at the very
Mhm.
least.
I want to say four. I have my
Okay.
first original black sparkly jacket that I
Yes.
wore. I have my silver one, and then my blue, I think it's teal and purple one, and my pink one. So yeah, four.
Okay. Yeah. And they're all different vibes.
Yeah.
I'm curious because maybe the pictures don't do it justice. What exactly is the magenta? Like it looks like there's tinsel on it. Like
Yeah,
it's like
it's
a okay, that's what I thought. Because it kind of looks like feathers, like fur. It was just so intricate looking.
well, the funny thing about it is that jacket, I honestly try not to wear it a lot, just like for like the bigger occasions or
Yeah.
something, because that thing sheds so much.
I believe
And
it.
I wore it one time to the ring, and there was like a big fan above the ring, so we already know how this is gonna
Oh
go. It
no.
was blowing the tinsel everywhere, and it was falling off the jacket that got all over the ring. And then one of the guys came back from a match, and it was all like stuck to his back because he was gross and sweaty. So yeah, it's just I try not to wear it that much, but I love it. And it's like surprisingly not even heavy,
Okay,
but
that's
I
good.
honestly, yeah, it's a good fashion statement for sure.
I mean, yeah, oh my goodness. I'm surprised it's not heavy to be honest with you, but that's a good thing though, because then it
Yeah,
won't weigh down
exactly.
your suitcase and all of that.
Yeah, for
Now,
real.
now I'm curious, what prompted you to incorporate star sunglasses into your presentation?
I've always loved stars. Like it's
Yeah,
such a big
it's all
thing,
over
but
your shirt designs too.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. And I actually on my new gear I got stars on the back of my trunks just so they weren't so plain. So there will be stars on there. But I when I think a month after I debuted, I wanted kind of something to add to like the jacket and whatever. So I saw star glasses. So I've always just been kind of on and off with them because sometimes I'll do like rhinestone looks on my face, so I don't want to have like glasses on with it. But I brought it back a couple months ago because I found more that I like. Um, and then it got even better because I saw a little girl in the crowd and she had star glasses. So I was like, all right, I'm making the connection right here. I got to keep it going. So now I actually just ordered a bulk order of them for people to buy at my merch table so you guys can match with me.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, do you get them like custom made, or how does this work when you're like bulk ordering them?
Okay, so I get mine off of Amazon. They have
Mm,
a great selection. But when I get them, I rhinestone mine
yeah.
myself. Because I can't go without my bling.
Hmm.
But all the other ones are just plain. But the little girl who was matching with me had rhinestone hers too. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Twins.
just so cute. Yeah, literal twins. I was like, girl, let's get a selfie.
I'm curious, with such an intricate process like rhinestoning stuff, do you recall what's been the longest process to rhinestone a piece of your gear?
Yeah, yesterday actually. So my bottoms that I got, the gear lady who made it didn't have the green rhinestone, so I was like, "Girl, don't even worry, I
Mhm.
got you." So I did it myself, and I've only done the front. I have yet to do the back, but the front alone took me 2 hours, and I still have to do the top and the leg cover. So total, it's
Mhm.
probably going to be like 6 hours, but
Well,
it's worth it because it's just
yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, well, we know at the very least it's going to be green. They're going to be some green in there. So we look forward to
Mm-hmm.
that, You've got like the whole color palette in there. I sincerely I appreciate a good gear,
Yeah.
I don't remember what the exact quote was, but I think you said something like good gear, good life, like something. It was something about that on Instagram, and
Or
I was
yeah, I think it
like,
was
I
something
agree.
like new gear brings out a whole new confidence or something. Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Like a gear really makes a person. Like you wouldn't think that, but like deep down it really does. Like if I see someone on my TV and their gear is like I don't think I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
them because like I love the flashy fun gear.
Yeah. Obviously, it varies with the person's gimmick and their
Yeah.
persona and stuff like that, but in general, it can really accentuate a character, you
Yeah,
know?
it could really help you either stand out or be like everyone else in the audience and kind of just look like, you would be in the crowd.
Yeah, and part of that, is kind of a trial and error. Like you said, you're still kind of figuring out I mean, who you are as a character in your presentation as a whole. But so far in this 2+ years now, what are some of other the challenges that you've kind of faced so far, and how did you approach them?
I won't lie. The first time I ever got asked to work as a heel, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, because when I first started, I've always been the good guy.
Mhm.
It's just, I like being the good guy because it's just who I am. And I can never be mean to a little kid. So I got asked to play a bad persona, and I was like, oh no. So that was definitely one of the hardest parts, and I was very just not comfortable and not myself, and that was not Riley at all. But I would say, other than that aspect of it, just being like smaller than everyone because you always have to adjust. You can't do all these like slams and stuff that you want to do. But other than that, I would say everything else is pretty solid for the most part, except from size and being a bad guy.
That's not bad, to be honest with you. You compensate for it in other ways, and you can also use your smaller stature to your advantage at points. So, and
Exactly.
and especially just it's getting those reps in, like you said earlier, and just getting practice and all of that. But talking about stuff that you're proud of, we do what's called a watch list feature here on WrestleZone. So over the last 2 years now, is there a match of yours that stands out to you that you feel really proud of, and why?
So I would say this one was from Mission Pro actually. I want to say this was my first actually like recorded match on Fight TV. I have never worked like a TV match
Yeah.
before, but it was me and Big Mama against the Renegade Twins, and I was only maybe 3 months in at this point from when I debuted, whatever July to November is. I have no idea. But yeah, I was very green. I was not confident at all. I was still trying to like figure myself out a little bit. But after that match, I was very, very, very proud of myself. Just because I gave it my all. I was like, I'm gonna be on TV. Like I've gotta go full in. I've got to be super confident and I've got to show these people that I am secretly not terrified. But yeah, and it's on YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out, it's on there. But yeah, that's one that I'm very, very proud of. And we did get welcome back. So hopefully I will be back in Mission Pro sooner or later.
Hopefully, you keep evolving and like we said at the beginning of this year, now in your third year of professional wrestling, looking towards the future, what are you hoping to accomplish now in your third year?
I would say definitely getting out there more. I wrestled in maybe 6 or 7 states. But I would definitely like to get out there more. I'd like to wrestle down in Florida, New Jersey, New York, California. I've already wrestled in Texas, but I'd love to go back. Chicago's definitely one that I want to wrestle in. But yeah, just really hoping to get myself out there more, maybe have some more TV matches or ones that give people more access to watch my stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely setting that as a goal for myself.
Yeah, and to kind of start closing things out, I wanted to take a step back from wrestling and talk about completely non-wrestling. You recently, and of course, if you're comfortable with talking about this, you recently revealed that you were born with a cleft palate. So if you're
Yes.
comfortable with that, I'm interested to know more about your story and how it affected you growing up and everything.
Yeah, of course. So I think this is actually my first time talking about it, which is fun. So yeah, I was born with a cleft palate. They actually didn't know it when I was in my mom's stomach. They didn't know until I was born.
Yeah.
So I was the one where I had it in the roof of my mouth and it just stayed there. It didn't end up going up to my lips, so I don't have a scar or anything, but I did have a hole in the roof of my mouth when I was born. And I was tube fed for, I think, the first year and a half of my life or somewhere around there. And I had surgery on it when I was 9 months old. So they ended up taking skin from my hip and putting it in the roof of my mouth. And then, yeah, I was tube fed from there. I haven't really had any complications other than my teeth is the only one that fortunately I've only had issues with. Everything else that could have came with it, I haven't had any problems with. But yeah, so I've been on the very fortunate side. I still experience like some like nasally issues just from being born with that. But
Yeah.
other than that, it hasn't really affected me. But I want to eventually try to be an advocate for kids who are born with a cleft palate, just, being in that position. And I want to help others feel comfortable in their own skin and know that just because they were born that way doesn't mean they're different from anybody else.
I know, and I feel like that goes to a lot of just your overall thing of wanting to inspire others of how, 8 people like AJ Lee inspired you. I'm curious, you mentioned again, if you're comfortable with it. You mentioned that there was some complications with your teeth. Was it like with chewing
Yes.
still, or what did that entail?
So it was actually with my adult teeth.
Oh,
So
okay.
most people are born with like I don't even know how many teeth,
Yeah.
but I'm missing one of my adult teeth, and then I have one over here that I technically wasn't supposed to have with the cleft palate, but I have it, but it's not the full size, so it's just kind of like there. So the orthodontist was like, "Yeah, sorry, sweetie, you're never gonna have perfect teeth. If you want to have perfect teeth, get veneers." And I was like, "Great, thanks, guys." So I've kind of had to learn to evolve and adapt with what I was born with. I did have braces and they could only do so much just because that's just what the cleft palate blessed me with. So I was very fortunate that I could at least have somewhat straight teeth, as straight as they could possibly be. But yeah, so it's just how it's gonna be. I guess I just got to deal with it and spend 10 grand on veneers if I really want straight teeth.
That's a lot of money. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe if you win the lottery, maybe.
maybe I consider it. I don't know.
No, but I find that awesome that you seem like you've just pretty much embraced all of it, and you're wanting to use that on a to inspire others, which I don't know if a lot of people would have the balls to do, or
No.
like the confidence to do. I'm curious, obviously, like you said, you had the surgery at what, 9 months, you said?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. It could have
Okay.
been 9 or 10, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you were still pretty young. I mean, by the time you probably had your first, you probably don't even remember any of that.
I have no
But
no
but
memory.
but I'm curious if kind of just knowing that kind of how did that shape your childhood, if anything? You don't really have a conscious, but I'm sure you were aware of it.
Kind of. The only like memory I have of it is like stories that my parents told me because I obviously don't have any
Yeah.
reconciliation of it. Just because I was just so young. Um, and my mom or the doctors, one of the two, actually did take pictures of what my mouth looked like before
Hmm.
surgery, and it's very scary. um, so yeah, they said they found out that I had it when I was like screaming, crying, and they like put a light up there, and they were like, "Wait, this kid is not normal." So
Yeah.
yeah, they had to break the news to my parents. Um, and then they attempted to feed me without a tube, and that didn't go well because it just went up and back out my nose. So they were like, "Yep, not doing that again." So yeah, I just basically just fed through a tube, and I'm kind of glad that I don't remember it because I feel like I'd be traumatized just going through all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that I have from it is just like a little microscopic little scar. Thank gosh. Um, so yeah, I'm very lucky, and I've been doing my research. Like, is it one day gonna like open back up, and I have to get another surgery? But luckily, no. I'm good for the rest of my life. But that was definitely a concern that's kept me up at night.
Yeah, I don't know all the medical terminology or if there's like stitches and stuff, but I feel like I would also have that in the back of my mind. I'm like, if it's like one of those stitches gonna bust, like I can
Yeah,
understand that, you know. But I think that's awesome that you have embraced that and you want to kind of use that for the better good to inspire and empower others with it. I saw you sharing because Charlotte Flair recently did a thing with that, and then I saw you quote tweeted that, and I just thought it was kind of an awesome story. I'm curious now, you're obviously a professional wrestler now and obviously have work outside of it, but what thinking back to your childhood, what did younger Riley envision her older self doing?
um, kind of what I'm doing now, but
Yeah.
obviously not this. Like before I was 8 years old, because 8 was about the time when I started discovering wrestling. But before that, I always wanted to be a vet, because I love animals
You
so
love
much.
raccoons. I
I
do know
love
that.
raccoons. Their hands. I'm so obsessed with raccoons. Every night when I get home, I drive up to the trash cans because there's always raccoons there, and it gives me the little smile that I need before bed. But yeah, so I always wanted to be a vet. Um, but obviously that never ended up happening because
Yeah.
now I want to wrestle. But I did go to a trade school for 2 years for animal science and management. So like I kind of have that as a backup. I've got a certification to be a vet tech. So it's not quite a vet, but it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Um, just to have that as a backup because you just never know. I could get hurt and have to retire, and I need something to fall back on. But yeah, that's always in the back of my head. I'm not gonna let little Riley down in case anything happens. Um, but yeah, so I
You
hope
know
I
what?
make my little self proud.
Yeah, I think you have, and you're smart of having a backup option because wrestling is so unpredictable in
Mm-hmm.
everything. But do you know what's funny? I don't know how I ended up on it, but I've been on raccoon TikTok for like months now because it started because there's this one lady on TikTok who like lives near a wooded area, and there's a bunch of them out there,
Yes,
and
I think I know who you're talking about.
she
Yes,
feeds them like marshmallows. The one likes a hot dog. She
everything.
knows their names, and
I
like
know who you're
it's
talking
just
about.
it's so like it's so addicting. It's so cute to watch too.
I
She like literally
know.
knows their names, and like the one will
Yes,
refuse to eat like the cookies, but the raccoon loves the hot dog. It's just so funny. And then
so
it's
cute.
started seeing more raccoon. Like this one person now has like a raccoon as a pet. I thought they were
Yeah,
so cute. I was like, I never take the worlds of the wonders of TikTok sometimes.
I
Seriously.
know. I know my neighbor used to have a pet raccoon, so now I'm convinced that one day I need a pet raccoon, and I hope it happens.
I think you need to, honestly. Assuming that there's somehow, I don't know how it goes with taming, training them and stuff, but the ones that I have seen seem to be really friendly and not
I
not
know,
not
but
crazy. Or
they
I
act
don't
like
know.
dogs.
I know. Well, if you feed them, they're gonna like you.
Yeah,
So maybe that
exactly.
has something to do with it. But Riley, before we let you go, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on your social medias?
Of course. So my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Twitter slash X, whatever it is now, and my threads, they're all the same 4 things. So it's gonna be Riley with 3 Y's on the end, and then Matthews. And it should pop up. And I also have like a link tree in all of those bios. And if you click that, it will take you to the link to all of those social medias. And then my Facebook is just Riley Matthews.
Well, Riley, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Hopefully, we get you a raccoon soon.
Hopefully.
Do you have names in mind? I'm curious.
I haven't thought about it, but
You should
I'm
start
really
thinking about
basic.
it. I feel like you're gonna get one soon.
I hope so. My boyfriend's on board with it, so I can't complain. But
And
yeah, Rocket would be really cute just because Guardians of the
yep,
Galaxy.
yep.
Yep, literally obsessed. But other than that, I haven't really thought about names, but I'm just envisioning my life with the pet raccoon.
Yep. I think so. I think that would kind of be if you can get it down right and train it, I think that would be a joyous life.
Yeah, and then I'll just bring it to the ring with me, like, hey
Exactly.
guys.
Just on your leash, just to be sure,
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Riley, thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been an absolute pleasure today.
Yes. Thank you.